4% so far this year. So your top three guys, you've got Nashville, Silicon Valley, and St. Louis. Long way to go to see which city wins the stock market in a pretty good year for stocks. Well, Nashville obviously has a lot more to do than just go to hospitals or see musical legends. Last year, there were 18 Nashville-based healthcare companies that generated more than $78 billion in global revenue. But let's talk about the two leading the pack for our PCI, Acadia and Community Health Systems. Joining us now from Nashville, which is appropriate, is Frank Morgan of RBC Capital. Are you there because you live there, Frank, or literally you're just there because every company you cover is based there?
You know, I've lived here for about 22 years, so I've been very fortunate to be able to work in a market where a lot of my companies are. So we're very excited about that. And certainly, to your point, Nashville is a really great city for healthcare. It is by far the largest part of our local economy and the fastest growing part.
And the PCIs, listen, we made them kind of tongue-in-cheek for fun, but they're a good reflection of how sectors have done. But I do wonder, when I look at a Community Health or an Acadia or some of the other ones, I'm thinking, okay, if you're soaring because of the idea that Obamacare may not be repealed or the replacement may sort of be very similar, and I see these kind of gains, it's hard not to think, are investors a little overly optimistic with some of them?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. I mean, you got to look at the capital structure of some of these companies. The more levered these companies are, obviously, the more volatile their equity values are going to be. So I think that's part of it. But to your point, certainly repeal and replace, really looking right after the election, but Nashville, it didn't look so great. You know, hospital stocks were down 13% the day after the election. Since then, there's been a nice recovery. The group overall up about 46%. And to your point, Community, one of those great performers. And I think a lot of this is driven by the fact that there's growing comfort that there won't be a complete repeal. There will be a replace. And we actually wrote about this back in December. We think this is going to play out over a long period of time. And certainly the worst case scenario probably is not going to happen. It certainly got priced into the stocks.
What are if there is a repeal and or a replace, where are hospitals most vulnerable? Is it to changes in Medicaid?
Well, it's really both. So, you know, Medicaid was certainly the area where most companies saw the most immediate positive benefit from repeal. Certainly commercial exchanges are there as well, I would say, but probably Medicaid is the bigger part of that. When you look at those companies, though, we felt like after the election, the economic potential give back from all the benefit they had seen from the Affordable Care Act more than got priced into the stocks. And I think that's when people began to get comfort that maybe this group is still investable.
You like Acadia, Frank, right now, but you like it looks like, because it's got cash to spend. How do you want it to spend it?
Absolutely. Well, we like the behavioral health care industry. We think the industry fundamentals there are very, very strong on all levels, supply-demand dynamics, opioid and substance abuse issues. We think this is a very good growth industry. This is a company that did sort of struggle last year, so we're calling in 2017 for a nice turnaround in their business. There were some distractions in the United Kingdom from some acquisitions they had made that probably carried over and distracted operations in the U.S. The company has just recently reported earnings. We like the numbers, we like the guidance, and certainly deploying that capital back in the U.S. to continue to consolidate the behavioral health care industry. We see that as a really good opportunity, and we really like the stock.
All right, Frank Morgan of RBC Capital Markets, working for a Canadian bank in Nashville. It's a global economy, Frank. Have a great weekend. Thanks very much.
Thank you.